Most people think power is something you gain. More money, more status, more confidence, more influence. But what if the truth is the opposite? What if power is not something you build, but something you leak, slowly, invisibly, through the things you say without thinking? Because that's how it happens. Not in one moment, not in one mistake, but in small, casual conversations where you reveal just a little too much. You explain, you justify, you open up. And each time, you give away a piece of something you don't even realize is valuable. Until one day, you feel it. People start treating you differently. Respect shifts. Dynamics change. You don't know exactly when it happened, but something is off. And the worst part? You caused it, without even knowing. Niccolò Machiavelli understood this deeply. He understood that in a world driven by perception, information is not neutral. Information is leverage. And the moment you give someone access to the wrong information, you give them the ability to position themselves around you. This is not about being paranoid. This is not about isolating yourself. This is about understanding a simple truth. Not everyone deserves access to everything about you, because access once given cannot be taken back. And the first thing you must never reveal, the one that seems harmless but quietly changes how people see you, is your exact position in life. Most people think being open about where they stand financially, socially, or professionally builds connection. It feels honest. It feels real. Someone asks how you're doing, and you answer. Maybe you even feel proud. You worked for it. But the moment you define your position clearly, you lose something you cannot easily recover. You lose flexibility in how people perceive you. If you reveal that you're struggling, people begin to lower their expectations of you. They start placing you in a smaller mental box. Conversations change. Opportunities shift. You are no longer seen as potential. You are seen as limitation. But if you reveal that you're doing well, something more subtle and more dangerous happens. People begin to assign expectations to you without asking. You become the one who can help, who can give, who can solve. And once those expectations exist, every action you take is judged against them. Spend too little, you're stingy. Spend too much, you're careless. Say no, you're selfish. You are no longer free. You are being evaluated. This is why the strongest position is controlled ambiguity. You don't lie. You don't perform. You simply refuse to define yourself in a way that can be used against you. When someone asks, you keep it general. You keep it neutral. You move on. Because the less they can measure you, the less they can position themselves around you. And that is where power begins. The second thing you must never reveal is how you truly feel about other people. This is where most people destroy their reputation without realizing it. It starts innocently. Someone annoys you. Someone disappoints you. Someone does something that feels wrong, and you feel the urge to speak, to vent, to release it. So you tell someone you trust. He's fake. She can't be trusted. I don't like how they move. And in that moment, it feels justified. It feels honest. It feels like clarity. But what you don't see is what happens next. Your words don't stay where you said them. They move. They get repeated, slightly changed, reinterpreted, and eventually they reach places you never intended. And when they do, they don't carry your intention. They carry a version of you that others now believe. Suddenly, you are not the one observing others. You are the one being observed. Because people don't just hear what you say, they analyze what it reveals about you. And when you speak negatively about others, you don't come across as honest. You come across as unsafe. Someone who talks, someone who exposes, someone who cannot hold silence. And once that image forms, people begin to guard themselves around you. They filter what they say. They limit what they share. They keep you at a distance. You don't lose them loudly. You lose them quietly. The conversations become shallow. The opportunities become fewer. The trust disappears, not because of one moment, but because of a pattern. And that pattern started with words you didn't need to say. The powerful man understands this. He observes, but does not expose. He notices, but does not announce. He sees everything, but reveals nothing unnecessary. Because the moment you speak about others, you reveal yourself. And what you reveal cannot be controlled once it leaves you. The third thing you must never reveal is your next move. This is where ambition dies for most people, not because they lack ability, but because they lack discipline. Think about the last time you had an idea, something exciting, something new, a plan to change your life, start something, build something, become something more. What was your first instinct? To tell someone, to share it, to hear their reaction, to feel validated before the work even began. And in that moment, you felt good. But what you didn't realize is that you just weakened your own momentum. Because the moment you speak your plans out loud, you release their energy. You convert action into conversation, and conversation creates illusion, the illusion that you've already started, but you haven't. And then come the responses. Doubt disguised as concern, questions that plant hesitation, reactions that reshape your confidence. Are you sure? That's risky. What if it doesn't work? And now your mind is no longer clear. It's influenced. Or worse, someone hears your idea, takes it, adapts it, and moves faster than you. Not because they're better, but because they acted while you were still talking. This is why real operators move in silence. They don't announce, they don't explain, they don't seek validation. They build quietly. And when the result is ready, it speaks louder than anything they could have said. Because results cannot be questioned the way words can. And by the time people understand what you've done, it's already too late to interfere. The fourth thing you must never reveal are your insecurities. This is the most personal and the most dangerous. Because insecurities are not just weaknesses, they are access points. When you share them with the wrong person, you are not just opening up, you are giving them a map to your internal world. You are showing them where you are sensitive, where you doubt yourself, where you can be affected. And most of the time, nothing happens immediately. That's what makes it dangerous. Because people don't always use your weaknesses right away. They store them, they wait, they observe. And when the moment comes, when it benefits them, those same vulnerabilities are used with precision. A comment at the right time, a subtle pressure point, a situation designed to trigger exactly what you revealed. And suddenly, you are reacting in ways you cannot control. Not because they're powerful, but because you gave them access. Now understand this clearly. This does not mean you never open up. It means you are selective. Because real strength is not in hiding everything. It is in knowing who has earned the right to see it. Trust is not built through immediate exposure. It is built through time, consistency, and observation. Until then, your internal struggles remain yours, not hidden out of fear, but protected out of awareness.
And the fifth and most critical thing you must never reveal is your long-term direction. This is where power becomes strategic. Most people love to talk about where they're going, their plans, their vision, their future. It feels exciting. It feels like progress. But the moment you describe your path clearly, you lose something rare. You lose unpredictability. Now people know your direction, and once they know your direction, they can position themselves around it. They can align with you when it benefits them. They can compete with you when it suits them. They can step ahead of you if they see an opportunity, because you showed them the map. And in a world where timing is everything, that is a mistake you cannot afford. But there is another layer. When you expose your long-term vision, you invite interference, advice you didn't ask for, opinions that don't align, fears projected onto your path. And slowly, your clarity begins to blur. Not all at once, but over time. You adjust, you rethink, you compromise, until one day you are no longer moving toward your original vision. You are moving towards something shaped by everyone else. This is how direction is lost. Not through failure, but through exposure. The disciplined man understands this. He keeps his vision internal. He refines it privately. He executes without noise. Because the less people know, the less they can influence. And the less they can influence, the more precisely you can move. When you step back and look at these 5 things, your position, your opinions, your moves, your insecurities, your direction, you begin to see the pattern. Every one of them is a form of exposure, and every form of exposure creates a point of control. The more you reveal, the easier you are to read. The easier you are to read, the easier you are to influence. And the easier you are to influence, the less power you have. This is why silence is not weakness. Silence is structure. It is discipline. It is awareness. It is control over what others are allowed to see. Most people speak to be understood, but powerful people understand something deeper. You don't need to be fully understood to be respected. You don't need to be fully known to be effective. You don't need to explain every move to move forward. In fact, the less you explain, the more room you create to operate freely. So the next time you feel the urge to speak, to reveal, to explain, to open up, pause. Ask yourself one question. Does this give me control, or does it give it away? Because in many cases, what feels like honesty is actually exposure, and what feels like connection is actually vulnerability in the wrong place. You don't need to prove yourself through words. Let your actions speak. Let your results define you. Let your silence protect you. And while others are busy talking, you move. Quietly, precisely, powerfully. And by the time they realize what you've built, you are already beyond their reach. If this made you rethink even one thing you say, then you're already ahead of most people. Because power was never about speaking more. It was about knowing what not to say. From this point forward, move with discipline, speak with intention, reveal only what serves you, and nothing more. If this gave you real value, hit the like button. Share it with someone who's still giving away their power without realizing it. And if you're ready to operate on a level where you are no longer easily read, influenced, or controlled, subscribe now. Now drop this in the comments. Silence is strategy. Control is power. Because that's not just a mindset. That's how you move from now on.